All right guys, let's show you what we got going on today. The pool is in on this project, and all the fill that when they were digging the pool, they cast over here to the side. So we've got to get all this out. And that means basically what we're going to be doing is taking the ASV and bringing the dump truck in and getting it loaded up. And then over here is where it gets to be a little bit challenging. It's a pretty steep grade. That's a pretty aggressive slope. And it's kind of wet. So we're going to see if we can straighten it up or if we can't. I don't know. This was not a good day for me, you guys. And you're going to see that throughout. In fact, watch this first bucket. This material is like snot underneath here. In fact, watch this. Look at that. That dirt is froze solid on the top. Right here, frozen. At least the outside is. And then once you break through it, it just turns to this wet, nasty, Play-Doh-ish kind of clay. You'll see it. Oh, here we go. This is not a good start. I think I got more dirt on my cab than I did in the truck. And on the ground. That sure wasn't a good first bucket. And that's the way the day went. Have you guys ever had one of those days where everything just is off? It's exactly what happened on this day. I mean, you're gonna see it by the time this video's done. I have one mishap after another. It just wasn't a good start to the day. And it's a rather simple project, actually. I've got to load about 6 loads of dirt into the dump truck, haul that out, get rid of it, and then grade out the slope. But I'm going to be using a special grading technique that I don't typically use, and I'm going to show you what it is and why in just a few minutes. This dirt is just nasty. That's a good load. Look at that one. That's a meaty. Wait a minute. I have no clue what kind of rock that is, but it's cool looking. That's a cool rock. So I just got the call from Tim. He needs good dirt out on his job site because the stuff he's got is pure muck. So what I think I'm going to do, I've been harvesting around the outside, and I'm finding that at least the stuff in the middle isn't too bad. Let's find out. Yeah, that's not bad. Boy, that's clay. It's a lot of clay. A little bit of sand, but ugh, we don't have anything that's decent. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna harvest from everything around here, because this is just nasty. That's like snot, just slick. So I'm gonna go around the outside. I'm gonna get that cleaned up. We'll save Tim the best stuff that we can. I think I'm gonna get a little practice in on this machine before I decide to load up that next load. Let's take it down on this slope right here. And let's start cutting some grades. Look at the boulders in this dirt. You see those big stones? Those throw you for a loop. I mean, even like a small softball size stone, it doesn't grade, right? And when you're laying all the dirt out in very thin lifts, a small softball stone like that hits you. It feels like almost like hitting you in the rib cage. Whenever you bounce over it, you're like, and it throws off all of your grades. The slope was about a 1-to-1, maybe a 1.5 to 1 slope. So it wasn't past what the ASV could do. But because the soil was so wet, it made it kind of uncomfortable because you didn't feel like you were grabbing onto the soil. You felt like you were kind of floating above it, and at any time your brakes could, or your tracks could break free. Wow, that was embarrassing. It is what it is. Yeah, it's definitely, I think it's the cab. I think it's the cab on this machine makes it a little bit difficult because I'm not used to that much glass. It literally feels like there's nothing between you and the truck. Most skid loaders that I'm in, you've got your cage in the front and you've got the side cages, and it literally feels like you're all snuggled up and safe in a little jail cell, right? With this thing, it feels like you're in a glass bubble. I'm actually used to, like, when you really get into loading and you're having a little bit of fun, bouncing off from the truck. I remember I own the truck, I own the skid loader, I can do things that you normally wouldn't do. Sometimes I've just let her go, just bounced it right off the truck, get the bucket in the air and let the cab just touch the truck as you're loading it because the machine's tipping forward a little bit. And it's like, oh, can I kiss it without denting it? Can I, what can you do? You have a little fun. With this thing, you're a little paranoid because you're like, that's all glass up there. If I smack that truck, I'm gonna shatter the whole thing. And that's not true. Of course, it's protected, but it does take a little bit to get used to that cab. I hit my tripod. I'm having no luck. Just one. I think I better call it a day and come back tomorrow. Actually, there's a lot of days where that would have been the smart thing to do. I think I'm going to do it today. I'm not even close to being done. I really wanted to get this kind of laid out, but my luck today, if I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any at all. All right, you guys. We got a lot of touch up to do, but we're also going to be grading a little differently than what you would normally see today. We're not going to be seeding or sodding this year at all. So instead of loosening the soil up, I'm going to be intentionally flat topping it or slicking it right here. See how this is slicked? This is designed when water hits, doesn't penetrate, and it sheds. When you have loose soil, water hits, kind of gathers in the loose areas, and then creates a mess instead of shedding down and going away. Since this isn't going to be seeded, sodded, or established for a year, we want water to go away. So we're going to grade it so water does that, which is a little contradictory to what you've seen me do in the past. We're going to be tweaking wet clay. So there's going to be times where I'm just going to be digging in and attempting to shave a little bit off, and I get a lot off. And I'll show you what I do to fix that. Let's go. Where I just want to start to shave. Nice close shave. This cab is so quiet. You can hear everything. Like, I'm carrying on a normal conversation in the cab with you guys. So I'm going to shut up and just let you guys listen. But this is what the operators hear inside the cab. It's just, peaceful. Very, very quiet cab. Very quiet cab. Yeah, that actually is working out today. Better put that down in the calendar. We're not in a rush, and I'm looking at that drip line of that crabapple tree. I definitely want to stay away from that. This machine floats, it'll still compact. And if you don't think so, put your toes under the tires and tell me if they're not compacted when we're done. Okay, for one, don't do that, and for two, it doesn't have tires, it has tracks. Just saying. Thin lifts, and I want to work it into the soil, so I'm actually attempting right now to kind of marry it into the existing soils. Kind of like Play-Doh. You guys remember Play-Doh? When you push it over the newspaper, and you'd put it in real thin over the newspaper, and then you'd peel it up and you'd have the newspaper on it. You'd always do the bunnies, right? At least I always did the bunnies. I mean, why would you do anything else but the bunnies? Anyway, this isn't much different than that. You just spread it real thin and you work it right in, and pretty soon it becomes part of the topography. called earthwork. See, thoughts will stand, man. Jeez. But the results that we leave may be around for 100 years or more. Nobody may come in here and regrade this for decades and decades. Who knows? I don't know. That's kind of one of those thoughts that I think when I'm going through it, and I'm like, all right, do I take the time and do it the way I really, really want it, or do I get on to the next job? Well, how do I want this to look in 15 years when people are having weddings here and family events and enjoying this land? They will never know it's me, but I'll know it's me. I'll feel better about what I did. If you do your work right, nobody should ever know you did it. You know, I actually started running excavators, tracked excavators, which is like a bulldozer with a bucket, right? That was the first piece of equipment we ever owned, and we didn't own any other equipment besides a farm tractor for quite a few years. You want to talk about slow and monotonous? Oh my God! A tracked excavator is so slow compared to a skid loader. I mean, it's got its place, you guys. Let's not just bash it, but customer's going to be coming out in about 20 minutes to check this out. So I kind of want to have something cool for her to see. What do you guys think that is? You guys see that? Let's go check it out. That don't look like something I want to hit. That don't look like something I want to hit. Look how shallow it's buried. All right. Yeah, it's been gopher stated multiple times. Flag. Look at it's a gas line. Is it? Right. We don't know that. They didn't have this line marked. You guys seen it when I first walked in. Look how shallow that is. I don't know where you guys are, but in this neck of the woods, they always do these things so shallow. I just don't understand it. All right, I'm gonna let you guys just watch for a while. So I'm gonna pop you up on the top, give you a little better view of the bucket, and let's get some stuff done, right? So the reason I don't do real thick lifts with clay, and personally I don't like to do thick lifts in a lot of materials, but especially clay, is because I don't want the subsoil and the clay that I put on top of it to be separate, because that clay can move as a mass, especially on a steep slope, because that side slope is pretty steep, you know, 1 to 1 or 1.5 to 1. So then if you get water, a thin layer of water from the soil that's in the bank and the stuff you stick on top, you can get the entire mound of soil to move down. What I want this to do is I want these to marry together, so that as the water comes down to the surface, it hits the top of it, and if I can get a nice sheen on it, the water will hit, not penetrate, and run off. All right guys, we're gonna start at the bottom of the hill, and we're gonna look at the grade from the bottom and the top, because I don't have a laser here. So from the bottom, you guys can see that everything flows right down here. It kind of comes this way, it comes this way, and it's meant to come straight down here, which is pretty much where we wanted her to go. Wanted her to go. Well, if I could say that any more awkward, I probably could if I tried. So this grade, let's take a real quick look at this, okay, you guys? Because this is not the grade I'd leave if this was gonna be a yard. This is clay, right? And I did this on purpose. I hard packed this clay because next year I can come in, power rake it. I can use the SR3 on it. I can use the Hydra bucket. I don't care. Pick a name. Anything that tills something up, I can then till this back up and put the black dirt and incorporate it down so these guys can grow grass. But in the meantime, they're not going to get their entire yard washing down and into the street. this surface is going to really protect it. So there's still a lot more landscaping to do out here, but we're not going to be doing it. A guy named Bobby Jensen, I guess he's a famous guy on KARE 11 News, local. She's worked with him before. So we're her excavator, he's her landscaper, I guess. Is what it is. We got plenty of work anyway, we can't keep up. Blaine just threw his back out, and Sam's trying to build a 14-foot tall retaining wall. Blaine can't pick up a single block. Alex is out doing fall cleanups. Frankie is up north putting a second story on a cabin. Tim is out doing a French drain job. And here I am. So we're spread a bit thin, but we'll get through her. Always do, and I'm sure you guys are spread thin too, man. I think we all are, right? It's that time of the season, and it's one of those worlds. Anyway, that's all we got for you today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you picked something out of it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you picked out of it. If it was just fun, cool beans. Say I just had fun, I went along for the ride. If you learned something, let me know that too, and we'll just go from there. Hopefully we'll see you on another one. God bless. Go get them, you guys. If I don't leave here, I'll never leave here. I'll just stay here and work and work and work. I know it. I mean, because I see that ridge, I kind of want to take that out, and I want to fill that in, and then I want to put a little bit of dirt right there, and I want to bring it all around. But the problem is this isn't the finished grade. That's not till next year. So sometimes you gotta know when to say no. You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them. All right, I'm done singing. So on this particular slope next year, what I've got to do is, because I've hard packed this soil and trying to preserve it, because they can't afford to have any of this stuff wash past that silt fence. And I really think the way I left it, it's going to be well protected until the spring. But in the springtime, you guys can see how much clay is on this soil. I've got to do an extra good job of tilling this up, because if I just spread the black dirt on and I don't incorporate everything together, that clay will be here, the black dirt won't incorporate into it, and the roots will grow down, hit that clay, and pretty much like hitting concrete. It's not going to be able to go anywhere. And so the grass on top will suffer if they don't have a sprinkler, or we don't have a wet summer. Anytime there's a drought, your grass is going to burn a lot faster. And so really what I've got to do next year is just fold the black dirt together with that clay as deep as possible, and that'll create a nice structure for the roots to grow. Probably bring in a little sand as well, because that clay is going to create probably root rot in the vegetation if we just leave pure clay and use black dirt on top of it. So there's a little bit of remediation to get a beautiful yard in there. We'll see what the customer wants to do, but that's our video for today. God bless. Go get them, you guys, and hopefully we'll see you on one of our other projects coming up. Catch you then.